let me show you what actually this entire scenario is about. Who is ready for the reveal? Hands, lots of hands. Thank you. Cool. Let me then reveal the attack. So this is what happened. This is one of the most classic ways of how an attack goes down when there is a threat actor who is manually accessing a system with command and control frameworks and executing the most common techniques. So what we have here is we have Firefox was used to download a stager. This is what the payload is called in Empire in order to execute and facilitate a command and control. This stager was basically was downloaded from windowsupdate.com 8080/update.exe.hda, actually from 8000, not 8080. Then the execution of the update.exe.hda led to the creation of the command and control agent 1, a PowerShell process that was communicating with our IP address 3.140.33.120, column 9001. So this is basically where we have all this beaconing coming in from in the beginning. We have the command and control server that is out here that was communicating with the agent. Then this agent, initially what you do as an attacker, right? You don't want to get locked out. If you don't want to have the connection drop and get, start over again. So you need persistence. So we added persistence through registry run keys, which were identified. We then were just part of a regular user session, which was a non-privileged session. So we wanted to escalate privileges, elevate privileges, which we saw this invoke environment something script. That's the privilege escalation technique that was used to get an elevated session so that we can actually then really do some more damage there, right? So this led to a second agent, command and control agent, which was connecting to port 9003. So this agent then allowed us to run anything we want on the system, right? Because we had like high privileged access. So this was basically then used to run reconnaissance tools. We then attempted to perform some process injections. Couldn't find any because it actually didn't work. So we didn't have like any process injection techniques that really we would have been able to find out about, but you might have seen some commands. Then we had shell commands, right? Shell commands were like navigating onto with us in the system and trying to find system information, the host name, the domain admins, the user accounts, and all this kind of typical discovery stuff. Before we discovered the files, before we used PowerShell, before we created c/temp, that was not there before we then used PowerShell to stage all of Alice's documents into one temp/1.zip archive, and then we uploaded 1.zip through agent 2. And this is what we got in PCAP, in the PCAP logs. Agent 2 was actually, showing a little spike, tiny spike, because it's just a 4 megabyte or so size to file, but it had a tiny spike on the port 9003 in the PCAP. So this is basically the entire attack and how it went down. It was just a single system, and it was just a quick getting access, escalation of privileges, persistence, and then actually somewhere in there should also be a scheduled task persistence, I think, what we did too. And then stealing the files, data exfiltration. And that basically, shows on a high level an entire start end-to-end attack, right? This is basically what attackers usually are doing and looking for. All the techniques, step by step, in the attack lifecycle. Can you see what data they took? Yes. I think at some point last time we came across the command that was used to create this 1.zip file. And if you look at the command, you could see that it was actually archiving anything that was within Alice's documents folder. So anything that's within Alice's documents folder, if those files are not deleted yet, would have been part of the files that were stolen. They were packed into the 1.zip file.